The lead master carpenter is a crass, unforgiving old guy. In Ocarina of Time, you can find him yelling orders to a bunch of carpenters. We learned that he was tasked by Impa to help rebuild Kakariko Village, but his workers seem to be doing nothing. Like, why is this guy just running on these beams all day? No wonder it took them 7 years to finish this place. After they do finish it, you can find him in Gerudo Valley, where his workers abandoned him to get captured by guards. And that's why the bridge is out. In Majora's Mask, this guy is as grumpy as ever, but he's found a new target for his anger. His workers seem to be a little more focused, but he still remains angry. This time, at the moon itself. It's just like Grandpa. He gets into an argument with the mayor over whether to flee the town or not. In the end, he doesn't care, and he's committed to building this tower for the festival, no matter what. In his final hours, he can be seen yelling at the moon, saying, well, fall already if you're going to. Just like Grandpa. Beans! Who doesn't love a good bean? They come in all sorts of colors and are sold by the legendary Bean Guy. In Ocarina of Time, you can find him selling beans in Zora's River. Every one you buy increases the price of the next one by 10 rupees, as he sees this as a quick way to make some cash. Of course, planting a bean allows you to grow a magical plant that takes Link to harder to reach areas, kind of like the magic beanstalk story. In Majora's Mask, Old Beanie is back, but thankfully he doesn't increase his prices, probably because he isn't the only bean merchant. This Deku can also sell them too. One interesting fact about this guy is that he loves beans so much that he has a tattoo of the word bean in Japanese on his arm. Let that sink in. There is an entire Hyrulean language specially made for these games, yet he has the Japanese word for bean. Not like those other Japanese tattoos you might see, like serenity or focus or nature. Bean. Legend. Absolute legend. What a beautiful voice. And an absolute banger of a track. The Phonograph Man can be found inside the windmill of Ocarina of Time, where we encounter a rather unique time travel dilemma. In the future, he says he is angry that some kid 7 years ago played a song that started a storm to make the windmill spin quickly. He teaches us this song, but there was no kid 7 years ago that played in that song. However, if we go back 7 years, we can become that child and then play him the song in this rather unique time paradox. How did we play him the song when he was the one who taught us the song? Time travel is complicated. In Majora's Mask, we can find him playing alone in the laundry pool, practicing for a performance that he and the Gorman troupe are a part of, talking to Nechu the Bremen Mask, which can be used to help lead others. In either side, we can see a musical happy guy plagued with bursts of anger and rage, a genius, or simply a mad musical composer. Hung up about that time travel thing though. Sakon the Thief wasn't always a bad guy, or was he? In Ocarina of Time, we can find Sakon running around the castle market with a trademark bag. Talking to him reveals a line that seems inspired from Alice in Wonderland's White Rabbit.
I'm late for a very important date.
Interestingly, if we wear a mask and talk to him, he says that he used to wear masks a lot when he was younger too. Was this his start to his mischievous ways? Q 7 years later, and his adult version is missing, though he is present in the credits. His terminant doppelganger is far more sinister, being the one who stole Cafe's wedding mask and mugged an old lady from the bomb shop. Sakon solidifies himself as a bad dude. Though he may prance around looking innocent enough, don't be fooled. There might be a reason why Sakon is one of the only NPC characters you can actually kill in all of Zelda. In Majora's Mask, we can meet the Master, who owns a training dojo in North Clocktown. He offers us sword training lessons and boasts of his incredible skills. Apparently, when the time comes, he'll slash the moon in two. Well, that's sorted. No need to worry. This guy has taken out Majora and the moon, no problem, right? Surprisingly to some, the Master can also be found in Ocarina of Time, though he isn't a trained swordsman here. He can now be found in the desert as the magic carpet salesman. It might be a tough jump, but hopping over is worth it as he sells the very rare Bombchu. Whatever realm he lives in, he is definitely a master. One of magic levitation and the other of swordsmanship. The one thing I just can't get over is that hair? Is that his mustache? From a distance, I thought it was a bag on his head. In fact, from this angle, he looks like a pot. Out by Lake Hylia, you can meet the lake scientist. He studies aquatic life and provides medicinal support to people who need it, including making eye drops for giant Gorons. In fact, he mentions that his student was actually Granny from the potion shop in Kakariko Village. That's pretty cool. In Termina, however, the lake scientist is officially named the Professor. No longer does he deal with medicine, as he uses his time to study aquatic life. However, he has been often raising fish as food for the Zoras, according to Toto himself, which is kind of odd. It seems that the Zoras don't want to fish themselves. Additionally, since the abnormal weather conditions, he also offers to hold these Zora eggs in a safe place for Lulu. He doesn't think they're like caviar, right, Professor? Head to the castle market and you might spot a locked door. But if you come back at night, you get a chance at the treasure box game. Premise is simple. Pick between two chests. One holds a key and the other a simple reward. But if you can make it to the end, you'll score the biggest reward, a heart piece. But the odds are against you. Having to do this 5 times in a row means you get around a 3% chance to win it all. This is of course if you don't cheat with the lens. This guy loves treasure, and his MM doppelganger is no different, despite what you may think. You can find him as the master fisherman, and his secret treasure is the hook shot, which has been stolen by pirates. Clearly something incredibly valuable. If you manage to subdue the ocean storms, you can also find him setting up a unique jumping minigame here. Interesting. A treasure shop guy and a fisherman seems so different, but if you look closely, they both guard secret treasures. They both have minigames, and they both have some sick tats. These two could and should be a whole long video, but let's keep it brief. Ocarina of Time's Kume and Kotake are a pair of twin witches said to be 400, maybe 380 years old. Navi identifies them as Ganondorf's surrogate mother, which may imply they gave birth as twin Rova. There is no mention of the father, but that's another rabbit hole. They act as the invisible guiding force of the Gerudo and mentor to Ganondorf, which is why he's so magical and evil in his human form. They can be seen transforming Nabooru, the head of the Gerudo, into an iron knuckle to serve as their puppet. Brutal. In Termina, these two are very different. They do not mention a twin Rova form and are generally helpful. In fact, when you save one of them from the terrors of Skull Kid in the mask, they help you by giving you a boat tour and a free bottle from their magic hack shop. Instead of raising evil overlords and acting as a devil divine surrogate mother to a once-in-a-millennium male heir, they run a boat cruise and sling potions. What if Link rode a broom? In Ocarina of Time, if you happen to go to a back alley in the dead of night, far from those pesky guards, you might find a special shop, one you can't get to easily. They sell expensive, explosive goods that are limited in quantity. First come, first serve, and when they sell out, they're done. The guy selling them has tattoos on his hand and his head. Looks like a tough guy, peddling what may be illegal goods, but perhaps there's more to the story. In Termina, the bomb shop owner has a different side to him. Though he still has tattoos and a gruff exterior, we find out that he is a loving and dedicated son to his mother, the woman who owns the shop with him and whose dream it was to stock big bomb bags. She taught him from a young age about chemistry, the science, taught him everything he needed to know about these special bombs, with dreams of space flight. When she gets mugged, her son is worried about her and looks out for her safety. At first glance, you may see a gruff, dark, and dangerous man, but if you peel back that onion, you'll see a highly educated, kind, fair, and loving son. What would you do for great wealth? Would you dabble with a curse if it meant you got all the money in the world? In Kakariko Village, we find a family of spider-like people hanging out at the Skulltula house. The head of the Skulltula house asks you to break their curse, and you can do so by killing and collecting gold Skulltulas throughout the land. If you manage to kill all 100, you free his sons who give you rewards, and this man who will give you an endless supply of gold rupees. Professor Shikashi says their entire family line was cursed due to greed, but how exactly? We get another look at the Golden Skulltula house in Termina, where we can find the cursed man in the Swamp Skulltula house. Here, this man is in the same predicament. What's more is that he says that someone gave him this mask and said that there were instructions on how to get incredible wealth deep inside the house, which is where he got cursed. And the mask was the Sheikah's mask of truth. Who was this mysterious man that gave him the Sheikah mask? A Sheikah? And was this mysterious man the cause of the curse in Kakariko as well? What's unlimited wealth worth to you? The Zeldaverse has many interesting races, but perhaps one of the most exotic are the Gerudo. They are typically an all-female race of warriors with a fierce loyalty and unique culture. In Ocarina of Time, the Gerudo were actually led by Nabooru, though Ganondorf was actually a rare male Gerudo himself. She saw him as an evil threat and tried to stop him by requesting Link retrieve a pair of silver gauntlets in the Spirit Temple. But this was all before she got brainwashed into being a servant of evil. She would later become a sage which sealed Ganon away. In Majora's Mask, the Gerudo were a little different. They were now pirates who searched for the ultimate treasure. In Termina, the Gerudo here also had a leader by the name of Avail, who is Nabooru's doppelganger. In this game, she was tricked into stealing the Zora eggs and hoped that they might be able to use them to grab an even greater treasure within Great Bay Temple. Interestingly, in Japanese, their names are quite similar, from Nabooru to Aberu. Too bad the localization couldn't make that clear. The Great Ingo saw his debut in Ocarina of Time, where he could be seen as a ranch hand for Lon Lon Ranch. He seems to be the only one working hard on the farm. The owner is lazy and likes to sleep all day. 7 years later, Ganondorf makes him the new owner, which honestly seems kind of fair. Because where the old owner slept all day, Ingo actually took care of it. This man has great work ethic and aspirations, despite occasionally being evil himself. In Termina, he is now actually one of various brothers called by the name Gorman. While they have a mysterious dark side linked to Akana, one brother decides to leave it all behind and pursue something different. Instead, he takes on a life of show business with all the ups and downs that typically entail. Unfortunately, after failing to secure a show and having his whole troupe without work, he resorts to drinking and drugs. His mask he gives you is literally him just crying. Poor guy. Definitely one of the more interesting stories. Man in Ocarina of Time can be found in either the adult or child timeline. Here, you can fish to your heart's content, and as an adult, you can use the fishing rod to hook his hat off of his head, revealing that he's in fact bald. It's okay, buddy. His Majora's Mask counterpart saw a huge overhaul. He now runs the trading post during the day, appearing as a jolly, jovial fellow, with an itch for shady business. Come back at night, and he now mans the Curiosity Shop, a place where stolen, illegal, and mysterious goods appear for sale or trade. He may change his appearance and seem shady, but he is an honest and truthful friend to Cafe in the end. But he's still bald. I also can't help but see a resemblance to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. If you know, you know. Everyone knows the Big Goron. In Ocarina of Time, he crafts an ultimate sword for us, but lesser known is his tucked away younger brother, the Medi-Goron. Though he isn't much smaller, his name literally means medium-sized Goron. This brother is known for crafting the Giant's Knife that, similar to a razor sword in Majora's Mask, breaks after 100 swings. Or not. It's complicated. In Majora's Mask, Medi-Goron is again hanging around a small shop laying on his belly. But this time, he doesn't sell swords. Instead, he specializes on a bigger bomb called the Powder Keg. Though there are some restrictions to using it. Only Goronlin can use it, you can only hold one at a time, and only a few places sell them for a cost of 50 per bomb. At least he does something for us, unlike his older brother in this game, the Big Goron who just sleeps on the mountains. What a snoozer. The Composer brothers are a pair of spirits who gave their lives to protect a secret song. In their death, they reveal that they were researching how to use an ocarina to manipulate time. Ganondorf, envied for this power, tried to take it from them, but they kept their secret, taking it to the grave to defy him. It's also worth noting that they came from Kakariko and may have been part of the Sheikah, as they were also tasked with researching why the royal family hereditary line was so special. In Termina, these brothers were also composers serving the royal family, except in this universe, there was no hereditary line that survived. Sharp was cursed by the devil and ended up locking away his brother Flat in a graveyard guarded by an iron knuckle. Defeating him allows Flat to teach you a song which removes curses, the Song of Storms. If played, not only is Sharp healed, but the river runs once again, causing the wheel to turn. I wonder what happened to this royal family. Did they have a Zelda-like character as well? Interesting.